around a program called Elgon Restoration and Livelihood Improvement Program. And the theme or the clarion call is Elgon, our lifeline, our heritage, restoring landscape and improving livelihoods. So for purposes of some basic information, Elgon landscape covers 172,095 hectares. That is both, and of course, both gazetted forest, national park, and adjacent farmland. Elgon in itself is a transboundary resource that is between Kenya and Tanzania. That map on the extreme right or left, Uganda, sorry about that. I just told you. Very good, very attentive. So it's a transboundary resource between ourselves and Uganda. And to the right is a map that shows our pictorial presentation of that. The lower part is Kenya, the upper side is Uganda. And it's one of an important ecosystem that was declared as the second transboundary biosphere reserve by UNESCO in 2023. And looking at it in totality, what does it mean to that region? And a study that was done by a team of scientists led by Dr. Langat showed that on an annual basis, it is contributing over 115 billion Kenya shillings to the economy in terms of both extractive and non-extractive functionalities. Next. So in a summarized way, because sometimes they say photos, it's always said photos communicate in a better way. It had one of those endangered species, looking at the chameleon up there. It's only found in Elgon. It's a vital water tower. It has unique geological and ecological features like Kaptum, which is an important resource. It is also a very important contributor to the local livelihood. Trans-Nzoia and of course Bongoma is also the breadbasket of this country. So the whole community is dependent on that ecosystem. We have very diverse biodiversity hotspot, including some of the rarely available plants like Lipolia plant. And of course it has a cultural significance, especially to the Kalenjin community. So there is that all aspects around this mountain that is diverse in nature. Next. But of course, despite the many benefits or the many values that this forest has, there is an interesting story that has been happening. If you see the extreme right, is a forest that was green at one point, and it is visible actually visually, and that was in 1977. But over time, in 2019, it has moved to a situation where you are seeing most of reds coming up, and partly is because of our human activities. It is unsustainable exploitation in terms of certain systems, crop and livestock system, for instance, resulting in overgrazing and other factors that are leading to land degradation. And it's a situation that we are thinking very hard around transforming it so that we bring it back to how it was in 1970s or even 1960s. If you were to go further, you will see that it was a very intact ecosystem. Next. So to address this challenge, the State Department and our partners are looking at a 10-year program that would be costed with over 10.1 billion shillings, and it's good that I had a lot of partners operating from the mining, especially hapo kwa gold. I'm sure you tutaraise mara moja please. But the idea now is to rally all of us under this program, looking at how do we restore 103,000 hectares that will be comprising of forest land, 35,000 hectares. It will also look at the farmland, 68,000 hectares, and therefore deliver 10 million trees in the next 10 years. And we expect that should be able to take back the ecosystem to the state that it was in many years down the road. And this is actually our clarion call. It is the reason why we are here this morning, basically to say, hey, we need to do something. And now the journey has just begun from this breakfast. Next. So looking at that, of course, it's the final details of how the program basically be executed, looking at 4 major objectives. Next. Number one is the objective on an integrated landscape management looking at how do we ensure that all these ecosystem are restored to 103 hectares. And basically, if you are to estimate what we require is at least 3.3 billion Kenya shillings. Then there's an important ecosystem that I also mentioned, the agriculture and food system, the 68,000 hectares, would require a transformation so that we have sustainable food production systems, both tea, of course, there are aspects of coffee, there are aspects of maize, there are aspects of tea possibly, and now Tizon is here and is smiling very well. So those are some of the value chains that we would most likely be promoting to ensure that our farmlands deliver, and that is the estimate of what it will cost to do that. Conservation, of course, and restoration of natural habitats. We talked of a national park, we talk of a forest reserve. So those are the resources. But more importantly is also the governance. Because like I say, there are cultural, cross-boundary related issues that we need also to strengthen. So that is how the 10.1 billion shillings was arrived at, and basically is the reason why we are here this morning. So I believe in a very summarized way, it has explained why we are here, but I believe our leadership under the CS will be able to give us better directions on how to deliver that. Thank you very much. So in the interest of time and looking at our program, I now want to hand over the program to my peers and even before that,